Wow, this is probably the hardest video of cryptocurrency that I've ever had to do. I've done it so many times. I'm just gonna tell it how it is. Um, my biggest mistake in crypto was not finishing the project that I started. It wasn't losing money. It wasn't anything like that. The shame comes from not finishing the job, being a quitter, not doing it, and I don't know. I thought I could take it on. I thought I could, but my brain functions in a different way than most people. I have to be interested in the subject that I'm in. If I'm not interested in it completely, then I can't learn. I can't do it personally. I'm not a good coder. I can't do that. I'm not. Um, if you want me to like take apart something, dissect it, be able to make it, manufacture it, boom, I can do that. I can do that no problem. But it's just, and I know it wasn't that hard. You just cut copy, either start a token for five, and you create a limited supply of 55 million base token, and then you fork it all out. You send tokens from there. It's not hard, and you do a code. Uh, um, the code you can run a script basically. It's not super hard. Um, and I thought about it. I've got a lot more time invested in it than anyone that says, dude, I did like 45,000 addresses in 5 days, which is impossible. But even if you did that, even if trust me, the time I spent thinking about this, trying to create it and do it, was 100-fold yours. Because I contemplated this for years. Like, should I create one? Should I do one? Um, and I don't know. What was that movie where he's like, man, it's Tom Cruise and he's in that cab, and he's like, the guy's like, it's got to be perfect. Everything's got to be perfect, and I don't know. I dropped the ball on it. That's all there is to say about it. I'm sure everyone is human and everyone's failed, and this is my failure. And I could come back and say, well, I was expecting you guys to step up. I was expecting coders to contact me and stuff and be like, hey, dude, we'll collaboration on this. And no one did squat, really. No one contacted me and said, hey, I'm going to volunteer time. I'm going to do anything. I'm going to put my energy into this. See, I'm, I'm not a wealthy man. And when Richard Hart, when I see him do it, he's a wealthy man. So people are going to jump on that to make money, to try to siphon some of that off and whatever. And I have nothing to offer. I have nothing to offer. So um, that was it. That was it. It wasn't that I was really mad at the Hex community. I was mad at myself more than anything. I was mad that I couldn't finish. I couldn't complete. I couldn't get all my thoughts together and get it done. And it could have been done. It could have been done. Those addresses could have randomly been generated and then given out double the amount every time. And then at the end, I got paid or whatever. But I was never going to take that money. I don't believe that you can take that money. I don't believe that you can create a token and create it, put it out there, and put you as the founder on it without you being a huge target. A huge target for not only the SEC, but if money goes up, people love you. If money goes down, people hate you. There could be all kinds of stuff from that. And I don't know. I'd just rather just grow my weed and kind of be a hermit that I am. I'm truly a hermit. I don't go out to bars. I don't do a lot of stuff. I'm mainly a homebody and a work body. And I don't know. I want to put that out there. If you can get open source, you can have it. Anyone can do it. I don't care if you even think it's a good idea. I don't know. I always self doubt myself. But I thought I had all the bases covered. Growing supply weekly, showing demand in the start. Finish it off with no investors or anything like that, and at the end the person gets paid or whatever. But yeah, and then there's the whole process of writing the code to pay out, because you're doing like hundreds and hundreds of transactions weekly. So weekly the numbers get drawn, and then you're doing hundreds and hundreds. So if you don't have a pre-processed cut, copy, paste where you can just like spread that all in there, deliver 555 to this, yeah, that's where my brain fucked up. That's where my brain said, this may be a little above your pay grade, because your lack of interest and your lack of skin in the game and your lack of everything in this, and I don't know. I blame the community, because I was like, hey man, I need some help. I'm like struggling or whatever. Come on, Mia. Go. But and like no one helped, and that's fine. But I use that as a fucking cop out, as a fucking excuse, and that's bullshit. That was on me. I should have fucking manned up and owned up and been like, you know what? That was totally 100% my fault from the get-go, and not been like, well, no one helped me, so fuck everyone else. How wrong of me, you know? Introspection, looking into yourself and seeing your faults and your failures, and trying to own up to them and learn from them. The point is to learn and not do the same thing again, right? So, yeah, open source. Anyone wants to screw with it, make sure community, like, out there, like, make sure it's verified. Make sure they don't have backdoors and admin keys and all this bullshit that's in there. It just needs to be, all it needs to be basically is a token creation. That's it. Coming from the main source page. It doesn't have to be all that extra code, in my opinion. Like, the little I know about it, you know? The For Dummies book of it. But, yeah. There are people a lot more into it than I am. I'm kind of one of those people that's good at everything, but not very good at everything. Meaning I can pick something up. I can say, "Ooh, you know, I'm looking at a pipe here, right?" And I'm like, "Ooh, man, I could learn how to glass blow, and then I could get all the equipment to do it, and then I could make it myself, and then I could, you know, and then I go on from one thing to the next thing to the next thing." Learning new things, I get bored really easy. Which is why I can't, like, stay at jobs. You know, once I come in there with gusto, and everyone's like, man, I want 10 of you, because I can, like, work and get shit done. And I always get promoted quick. But at the end of the day, when I've learned the whole process and I've learned the whole game, I'm done. I'm bored. Like, what's challenging? What's new? What are we doing next? Type thing. And then I'm like, all right, time to go on. I'm just killing my time on Earth here, as everyone else is doing. What's next? What's my new hobby? What am I going to do next? What am I going to try to pick up? What am I going to try to learn? If it interests me, I'll dive deep into it. I'll learn every single aspect of every single thing about it. Look at masters that have done it. Study their backgrounds, all that stuff. But then if I pick out something that's not me, and it's not what I was meant to do, I'm going to fail every time. I am. So I just need to pick my battles, and I shouldn't have announced that, and I shouldn't have done that until I did my research on the coding part, which I had the idea. I didn't have the coding. I didn't have it all done the way I wanted, where it could just be run, you know. So that's my apology to you. If you sat and stewed about it or waited for it, man, what a dick I am. I'm sorry. Your boy Richard Hart's failed too. He's at a project that didn't get off the ground. It couldn't communicate. It couldn't latch on to the public, so he dumped it and he did something else. And it's not that I was like attached to this. There's other stuff that I don't know. I'm interested in, but not kind of thing. But I just wanted to say apologies from the bottom of my heart. I know what it feels like to be jerked around and wait for something and it doesn't ever happen. I also know that it could have been a good thing for everyone. Free airdrop tokens that have value. It could have been, and then I was worried about, there's so many variables in there. I'm like, all right, now what do I do when I launch the coin and there's a supply of 5,505 out there, right? And now it has a price on it. Well, I effectively have to send that out, all the business part of it. All the business part of it. The taxes on it, stuff like that. I'm like, I'm not really sure about everything, you know? And it's just one of those things that I think you got to jump in and do it if you're going to do it. Type things, but man, what a dick. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And it's not like I'm coming back to the Hex community or anything like that. I'm not. But that was my embarrassment. That was my shame to leave, that's for sure. And I sure don't think it's a cult. Nothing's a cult. I mean, you could say that people who like Teslas are in a cult. That's so fucking stupid. Anything could be. You can be like cult, and it's like a trigger word to get you to be like, ooh, I shouldn't be in that. You know, it's the word cult triggers you into that, and I'm like, no, I just thought there was gains there, and we realized the gains and lost the gains, and maybe there will be, and maybe there won't in the future, and we'll just see what holds for me. I mean, for now, the only thing I want to do is basically hold Litecoin, and that's it for long term, right? Just hold it long term, not as a store of value. And I have a few other coins, and that's to be your own bank, to trade, barter, and transact and stuff like that. But I really like that one. I'm drawn to that one. The vibe from Litecoin is so much better than any crypto I've been in. And the people in it, I don't know. Maybe that's because I ran into a bunch of good people that have morals and values and are looking at the economics of things and the suppression of gold and the devaluation of the dollar and all that stuff, and they're saying, I might want to hold some of this for the future, right? That's the way I feel about Litecoin. You may want to have a 10-pack of that sitting on standby, right? But in case anything bad happens. There's always scares in election years, but then it goes down after that, you know. Then they're like year 2 or 3, they're like, well, no one bombed anyone yet, we're good to go, the world didn't end. So alright, that's my video for tonight. Long-winded apology. I'm sorry. That sucks. Have a good night.